Hello, welcome to Reading Marginalia, a place for creative conversations. My name is Brianna Samansky. I am your host. Today we are joined by Jackie Rodriguez, a Master of Fine Arts candidate at the University of Nevada, Reno, featuring a conversation with an interdisciplinary artist based here in Las Vegas, Mila May. Welcome, Mila. Welcome, Jackie.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Mila, for anyone listening who might not be familiar with you or your art and your work, I'd like to begin by covering that. You're a Las Vegas-based interdisciplinary artist. I want to start with the Las Vegas part. Are you born and raised?
No, I'm originally from Ukraine. I lived in Las Vegas since 2003, so
Okay.
basically like native.
A native. Yes.
Yeah.
An interdisciplinary artist. Can you explain a little bit or elaborate what that might mean for somebody not familiar with interdisciplinary arts?
It's a little bit of everything. I do digital art, I paint murals, I build installations, paint like on canvas and stuff. So that's why I chose that title.
We have an interdisciplinary arts program at UNR where both Jackie and I go, and you'll see them sculpt or photograph or, whatnot, whatever they feel. I think whatever's in them to create is kind of what happens. And you mentioned that you do a lot of different things. I've seen a lot of your work. What did it start as?
I've always been drawing and stuff. I did a lot of work in my sketchbook in college, like all the way through college basically until I decided to start making and trying to sell like little merchandise. Like started with stickers and a pin. Well, I had one pin to sell and like a bunch of stickers, and then I kind of took off from there. Kind of coincided at the same time as me starting painting murals at the same time.
So, around, what was it, 2020 that happened?
Yeah, it was 2020. One of my friends invited me to paint on a boarded up uh, business fronts on Main Street over here in Vegas. We were just trying to like make the street look nicer. It was looking really, desolate, like with just plywood windows. And so a bunch of us got together. They actually got a grant for us, and we just painted whatever we wanted.
How does that work? Like collaborating as painters on a wall or a space?
Yeah, when I painted those panels, I didn't really collaborate with anybody. It was
Okay.
just we were next to each other,
Okay.
but I did have my own canvas. I've
Okay.
never collaborated on a mural before.
Okay.
It's something that I want to do.
It is.
Hopefully it'll happen eventually, then I'll have more insight about that.
Very cool. Okay, I do have a lot of questions like who you'd like to collaborate with, but I don't want to go too far on a tangent
Okay.
because I do want to show some of your work. You had mentioned stickers, and I just got this new water bottle, but can you guys see? There's
Yes.
one sticker, and
That's
then
an OG classic, the alien, yes.
the alien.
Uh,
Oh, really? I adore it. And a few other pieces to share. We have universe. What does it say? Can you read it? Because it's backwards for me.
don't tell me what I'm doing. I don't wanna know. It's playful. It's like people always ask me to or sometimes ask me to, like, explain what I'm doing, and, I I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it, kinda, and,
You're just
coming up with a meaning after the fact, so I enjoy the process more than, a concept.
so okay. So I just want to share a little bit about. Oh, and I have a pen. I have to show my pen.
Ooh, which one did you get?
This one.
Oh,
I loved
little
this
g
one because it reminded me of that quote by Carl Sagan, the astronomer who I think he like trained Neil deGrasse Tyson, but it's the quote where actually I think I have it. It's like the cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the universe to know itself.
I love that quote, yeah.
You know it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah.
So I thought,
I have a little art print that says "We are made of star stuff" also, so I love that.
so this is a whole nother level. This is like interdimensional travel, which there's a lot going on here. Anyways, I love it. So just to introduce some of your art, is there anything you would like to add about your art before we go into tarot in that conversation?
No, I think I really like the examples that you shared. That's a really good introduction.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate
I
it.
love your art very much so.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Where did you get the little stuff?
Is it called a Keen Cooperative?
A kin. Yeah. Oh, okay. So you bought it online.
No, I went there.
You went there? Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, yes. I was very happy. I was very obsessed with that store. So they support over 70 local artists. I did not know that. Everything in their store is made local or is created by local artists. So I think we'll give them a little bit of a shout out. Uh,
Yeah, they're really great. I was just there yesterday restocking the stickers and stuff. So they
well,
always have events, and
yeah,
yeah, they also
yeah.
have an online shop. Little plug.
Yes, you can go to a cooperative,
akincooperative.com.
akincooperative.com. But let's go on and move to our creative conversation. So that's just a little intro. I'm going to share the cards that I pulled for you. So I created this spread for our creative conversation and is to guide your journey, your artistic journey and evolution. Jackie, is there anything I'm missing?
Yeah, so mostly for anyone listening, this is tarot as a language, not, predictive or anything. We're just sort of using it to guide the conversation along. So,
Thank you, Jackie. Okay. So you'll notice in the top left, there's the Five of Pentacles card. That card is what I pulled for what initiated your creative journey or what to led you in an artistic direction. For those listening, Jackie, do you want to quickly describe the card?
yeah, so the 5 of Pentacles, it's two people and they're kind of facing a building with windows. And it's just a sort of fiery energy, with all the
And maybe it's a little bit hard to see, but there's like this sense of loss and a sense of scarcity, and which is really what the card speaks to. So scarcity, exclusion, creating from the margins. And so it makes me wonder, what were you responding to when you first felt called to make art?
Hmm. Well, I've always been creative. Like I said, I'd always kept a sketchbook. So it was, I mean, when I was starting out, it was a big leap of faith to like put my art out first on Instagram and then getting a little table at First Friday Festival.
You had mentioned starting during the pandemic, and the Five of Pentacles is an interesting card because it shows scarcity. And I think at that point, everyone was very isolated. People were struggling. There was a sense of seclusion um, and hardship. And what is it about that made you really come out as an artist? Because a lot of people would not think pandemic opportunity.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. But for me, it's how it happened. And Um, I kinda live a hermit lifestyle anyway, so for me during the pandemic, not much changed as far as, like, doing work and stuff, but all of a sudden, like, had this opportunity to go out and do something that I
Was it
didn't have before, so
what was it
it's interesting, like, yeah,
the opportunity that you mentioned earlier, the mural?
the mural, yeah.
Okay. And then after the mural, did you just get more opportunities or did you kind of start
Yeah, it was actually another opportunity was with First Friday because I don't know if you're familiar, the monthly festival that we have here,
Yes.
they shut down during the pandemic, but they had a little kind of an extension at Area 15 where they had like a okay, this was during the pandemic, but they had a little, skating rink. I don't remember how it worked, don't ask me, but they also had, like, a little market set up with, like, couple of vendors, um, and somehow I got invited to do that also. and so that's through that I met First Friday people, and so I was invited to do the actual festival when it picked back up. So that's 2 opportunities there that came out for me from the pandemic when most people were isolating.
You were going out.
I was going out,
It
yeah.
had the reverse effect for you because you were very hermited and isolated already, and then all of a sudden pandemic happens and you're out of your shell.
Yeah, a bit, that's very strange now that I think about that. That's strange how it worked out.
Interesting. And so prior to the pandemic, were you working as an artist?
I painted a mural at my friend's house, nothing public like that.
Wow. So, okay,
Yeah,
pandemic, and then that's when everything kind of snowballed, is what it sound like.
yeah,
Opportunity after
basically.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, that's awesome. Do you think so when I looked at the 5 of Pentacles card and the hardship and the scarcity that sometimes people feel, it made me think about artists in general and how sometimes I think like if my life had gone a little bit different, I might be a doctor is kind of like, just how like if I don't know if there's like a certain satisfaction or I feel like art kind of fills us in ways that we don't expect. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you think that perhaps sometimes challenges and struggles and hardship can help us or kind of put us in a direction of becoming artists or writers or musicians or things like that?
Yeah, definitely it builds character if nothing else. I went to school for architecture and decided kind of halfway through not to pursue it, but I stuck with going to school. So maybe that was part of my hardship is like sticking through it because I didn't know what else to do until I decided to take a plunge into art.
So my niece draws a lot in her sketchbook and she just applied to college to be an architect. I could see her very much as a animator or an illustrator. And so I wonder what it is that made you inclined to pursue architecture and then what made you stop?
It's in my family, really. My grandpa's an architect, my mom's an engineer. So I kind of grew up with those kind of people, and they're all, very artsy. It's a very good schooling, like to go through for artists because for me, it taught me how to follow through an idea, kind of from a concept all the way to presentation. We had like, had to do presentations in front of everybody of like the final concept and then you receive criticism and you had to make adjustments and all of that. So that was really good for me. I think that's why I liked it.
That makes sense. And so you've probably been drawing since you learned how to hold a pen.
Yeah. It's just my family is pretty artistic, all of them, so it's in my blood.
Yes. Well, and it just triggered a thought because the 5 of Pentacles, if we look at the image, I'm going to share the screen again, shows a burning building. And that's not traditional in tarot. That's just in this particular deck. And it's almost like you say no to architecture, right? You're burning the building, which I
Yeah.
thought is kind of cool symbolism. Yeah. Okay. So you say no to that, which is very cool. Let's go ahead and move
Yeah.
on to the star card, which is the one next to it. You'll notice that there's kind of like a sun, a star, and a woman who's holding something up to it. Sorry, Jackie, I just took your job. I described it.
You're good.
They're also fiery, the
They are fire.
cards.
Yes, selected red cards for like red ink marginalia. I was looking for a pink deck for you, and then I was looking, but anyways, it was a really overthought thing, and I don't know how I feel about the deck, but they are very fiery.
They're very strong, yes.
Yes. So with the star card, okay, renewal, faith, connection. And when I picked up a lot of your art has stars in it. And it makes me think of something, expressing well, you having a connection, one, to something outside yourself, something universal, something cosmic. And then it makes me think about how maybe when you're painting, it can restore you, how it can help you feel connected to something greater and grander, like the universe. And so I want to know, is that something you feel when you're painting, and how do you foster it?
When I'm painting, maybe when I'm coming up with ideas, I would say, feel very open to and receptive to whatever kinda comes through. Sometimes I'm surprised at the ideas that pop into my head, a lot of people say, like, they can't take credit for their ideas. They're just kinda out there and you just happen to receive them, so that's what I think about a lot when I'm coming up with ideas.
They literally so you might just be in the middle or at the start of a painting or a mural, and then you'll get this kind of clearer vision, and then you kind of go in that direction? Is that what I hear?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Definitely painting/working is a good way to think about other work or current work and come up with ideas.
Does it ever happen before, or, like, when you're sleeping or at some awkward time?
Sometimes in awkward times, but I really wish I would have like dreams or something, or like I have ideas. I tried keeping a dream journal more for consistency and like to build habit, but I've never had sleep ideas that were actually like good. None of them pan out.
Okay, so the dreams are just dreams. So when you are so you know how you mentioned thoughts kind of are out there and they pop in your head? You mentioned in one of your previous interviews that you love literature and that you read. I don't know if you've read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert?
No.
No? So it's a fantastic book, and it might interest you in particular because she talks about this notion and this idea that she has that writing ideas, artistic ideas, creative ideas are all out there, and they're like their own entities, they're like their own energies or spirits, and that they can pop in and pop out at any time. So I just thought that was something interesting. She actually has it was kind of a it's I'm making it I'm not giving it justice in the way I describe it, but it's very beautiful because it kind of adds a whole 'nother layer of meaning to art and creativity, which you might think is very interesting.
I like that. I wrote down the name. I'm gonna
Yeah,
check it
yeah.
out.
Elizabeth Gilbert, Big Magic, it's really great.
Big match.
Yes, because I mean, a lot of ideas are inspired by something bigger than us. And I think that's what you're referring to is just this, you're kind of the vessel and the channel, but there's something bigger playing out here. And so it makes me wonder, and I'm going to skip ahead. I'm going to share my screen again. I'm gonna skip ahead to the lover's card in your spread, which is down in the bottom left-hand corner. It's the couple. Well, Jackie, you want to describe it?
I mean, it's a couple, they're standing, and then there's someone above them, almost, watching over them, and they are just standing in front of each other. They're not kissing, they're not, yeah.
There's a closeness, and then the angel is on top. So the lovers is in the position where I asked, what does your art give to the world? And the lovers talks about connection and choice. And it makes me think about your connection to people and your connection to just something bigger, just the ideas that you're pulling in and inspired to create. And it makes me wonder what kind of relationship you hope people will have with the work when they encounter it.
I hope that it brings people joy, kinda childlike curiosity, maybe. I like to use bright colors in my work to kinda contrast the everyday world, especially in, like, public art calls. I like to add a lot of color because a lot of times, when they're painted outside, it's all concrete and gray, and so I think that it's a good contrast and provides, like, a eye candy for people to kinda just snap them out of their, um, daily mundane ritual of, like, communing or to work or something like that.
Something we didn't mention is that you have painted those utility boxes.
Yeah, I have some. Are you referring to the ones with the flowers?
Yes.
Yeah, so, there's a couple of public art calls that I've done those with the flowers, and then there's another set I'm doing sometime this year. So, yeah, the ones with the flowers, it was my attempt to, like, pretty up the area.
The barren
Don't know if
desert.
I succeeded. Yeah.
Personally, I love the utility boxes that they're painted. I'm so grateful that our city or county has grants and opportunities for that because I think it does add value to our space to see something artistic and inspiring and creative and pretty
When I drive by or when I'm walking, I take a moment to study them.
to study.
It's so beautiful all around. I just like looking
Yeah.
for, like, the hidden
Yeah.
art.
That's great, that's what they're for, that's the idea, it's like a public art gallery for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because and that brings me to another point. Your there's artists that create art for museums, and there's artists that create art for everyone. I mean, you have murals, you have it out there in the city, but you also have it to where we can, put it on our items or hang it in our homes. What are your thoughts on the role that art plays in our everyday lives?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, if the opportunity presents itself, we'll definitely hang in a museum, that's not, uh
Is that the goal?
I'll do it. It's a different kind of animal, and it's really I feel like it's not really up to an artist, to, be in the museum or not. It's just about the critics and the curators. I mean, you can have goals and stuff, which I don't. I'm content with doing public art and selling,
Yeah.
um, my merchandise is making, like, every day a kind of a museum, I guess.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it, and I didn't think about that as, like, you're right, artists don't get to choose if their art is in me at least I don't think. They can apply, I'm sure, but, um
Mm, yeah, I mean, sometimes you can pay for it but really, like, all the dead artists,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
they they're already dead anyway.
Alright, let's go ahead and go to another card. What stands out to you, Mila?
I don't know, I like all of them, they're very dramatic. I Okay, what's King of Wands? He's a very
Yeah.
imposing dude.
Jackie, for the listeners, you wanna describe him real quick?
Yeah, so the King of Wands, it's the king sitting on the throne. He's got a lion at his feet. He's holding a staff, very much in command, very much power. He's confident, assured in himself. Yeah, he's right there.
That's perfect, Jackie, because you mentioned a key word, which is confidence. And the King of Wands represents bold leadership and creative confidence. And so, Mila, for you, this was in the Who It Reaches card and the ripple effect. And so I wonder, how do you think your visibility of your art and your creative authority influences other artists watching you?
Well, I learned from my artist friends, and hopefully my art can inspire people to pursue their own art, People come up to me at First Friday asking me questions like, "How to get in?" or "How did you get started?" I always like to talk about that with people 'cause it's not very clear from the outside what happens and how
Just
how
how
it
it's
works, works. Like, you kinda just have to learn by doing it, and it's intimidating.
what are some of the lessons you've learned by doing it?
I have a quote in my head, but I'm not gonna remember it exactly. It's like
We
you
could
gotta learn
we
how to
could
do it on the way kinda thing, if that makes sense.
I wonder if you can elaborate more. What's something that surprised you about, like, something you didn't realize or think about that you've found out, or mistakes you've made, or successes you've had that surprised you?
Maybe not surprised, but I learned how to let go of perfectionism. It's kind of better have it done than having it perfect, or finishing it and moving on to the next thing is better than just trying to get it perfect. And that's my big lesson, I think.
It is kind of perfect because you have the death card in the middle. Do you see that?
Oh, that's death?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Ooh, I
And
like
I'll
it.
elaborate on this in a second. Jackie, do you want to describe what you see?
Yeah, so on the death card, it's a skeleton holding a staff and he's walking on this rocky path. There's no life around. It's just him in his own space and environment.
Thank you, Jackie. So the death card is in the position for you for what pushes back, for what could be a challenge. And so for that, I was curious. I thought about several things. I thought about how you had to change as an artist to kind of put yourself out there. What parts did you have to get rid of? But I also thought, I literally had this written down. Is there any trouble or difficulty in finishing or completing projects? And you just mentioned perfectionism being one of those blocks. So I have a few friends who struggle with this too. And what would your advice be to combat perfectionism and finishing projects?
Yeah, finishing projects is the hardest part. The most fun, for me at least, is coming up with ideas and like initially sketching out ideas. And you just have to practice and get better. You just gotta say deadlines are a good way to learn how to actually finish things. That's why applying to public art calls for me was a good practice, because I would have like self-imposed deadlines and stuff for my own projects, but it's really like there's no obligation other than to myself. But when there's like other people involved, it makes it real. So my advice would be to like find projects with other people and then like push yourself to finish.
I think that's the most fantastic advice I've ever heard for a perfectionist. I've had many people answer that just because we're in the world, right? We're in the art world, we're writing, we're painting, and I haven't heard a great answer to that. So I think imposing deadline, like giving yourself some gig work is great.
Yeah.
What do you do? You mentioned over the weekend that you had a project. Was that a personal project or like a commissioned project? I'm wondering if you felt.
Yeah, I may have made it sound more serious than it
Okay.
was, but it was I had a deadline for sure. It was I did like a little paint by number canvas for a party for friends' birthday. We have a big group of friends whose birthdays are in January. There's like literally 20 people and they always celebrate at the same time. And my contribution this year is I painted like an outline of like this crazy party, um, like under the water theme with octopus and pirates, and they everybody just colored in. So it was like a big coloring book. That was my project over the weekend.
That's so cool though. But the reason I asked, and I'm sorry if it was too invasive, but the reason I asked was because I wondered, like, is Mila finally setting her own deadlines and following them? So
Yes, she
you
is.
are.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it was my own project that I came up with, but the deadline was very real when the party was happening, so I had to finish.
Okay, so now that you've had practice at meeting other deadlines, the perfectionism, it's gone away, it's faded. Is that what happens?
Yeah, I think over the years, I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I got better at just finishing things, kind of getting through, and still like being proud of what I put out, and then just like, oh, it's done. But I'm still happy with how it looks. It has to do with like speed of how I paint, also, but so that took a long time too. But more like pushing myself to like, oh, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's gonna look good. It looks good. I like it. We're gonna move on.
And I think that kind of goes in line with being our own worst inner critic sometimes. And as an artist, especially when you're starting out, that can be so disabling, I think. Is that when you have that, right? Can you speak a little
Yeah.
bit to that?
I think it's part of the learning process. There's no way around it. It's how people start out. And so you just have to get through that phase. It's like maybe if you want to think about it, if you're like a self taught artist, that's your phase when you're in school and you're your own teacher and you have your sketchbook and you're comfortable doing that. And that's okay to like just be there for a while to be comfortable. But like the next step to graduate is going outside of that and showing your work.
Love that. I think there are a lot of people who are going to find tremendous value in the advice and the insight you've given them into perfectionism alone. Yeah, I mean, am I not right, Jackie? Like
I'm taking notes.
That's amazing. If I could give it to my younger self, I would.
advice for your younger self. What would okay?
Yeah.
So what would the one-liner be? How do you say it?
One liner.
Yeah, like what is the? Okay, you're like a whole letter. You're like, wait, here's the
No,
book.
yeah, there's a bunch of things. It's like take your time but hurry up. Yeah. Hmm. Something like that. Yeah, everything that I said. I don't know, one line.
Take your
Yeah.
time, but hurry up. I like it. Well, let me see what else. Let's take a look. Actually, that segues into another card that is in your spread. Temperance over here in the right corner, which is actually pretty fantastic that you just said take your time and hurry up and get it done because temperance well, Jackie, do you want to quickly describe the card for anyone listening, not watching?
Yeah, so for anyone listening, Temperance is she is appears to be an angel standing on a sort of platform, very sort of calm and serene and just, you know.
So, temperance is often oops, sorry, one second. Temperance in tarot is often misread and misinterpreted as balance, and it's not. Temperance is serenity, it's patience, it's absolute patience. And this goes in line with what you just said, Mila. Take your time, but hurry up and get it done. Which I love that contradiction. So it's about like, it's almost about, that sense of you have all the time in the world, um, but you need to kind of integrate it and just and follow through and let it happen. So now that you're beyond the deadline, like you've mastered the perfectionism. Well, I a strong word. You've tamed the inner critic. So how do you know when you're done with a project? So
Yeah, and like I have old sketchbooks with ideas. There's like maybe five or like they're really good ideas and stuff, but like it's past. The time is past. I don't know how to describe it better than that. It's like I'm not gonna work on that anymore. It was a really good concept, but it's over. So it didn't even start and it's done. So
you have so many like strong dichotomies and contradictions. It didn't even start. Well, and the reason I asked that question is because I met like a few people come to mind who I will not name, but there was a poet I met who spent like 20 years on this one poem. I don't know that I would have the patience for it. And sometimes that's too like, do you lose your spark, your passion? I mean,
it's not
isn't that
even that. It's like you change as a person in 20 years. Like even like 5 years back, I'm not the same person who wrote down that idea. Yeah. So I can't imagine like the stability that it would take. I don't know. I'm just maybe not that kind of person, but
see, that's what blew my mind too. I agree. I'm like, wow, you had to be the same person for 20 years and then still care about that poem and then still, like, but to me, it was such an extreme version of perfectionism.
Yeah, maybe.
So, what's the longest time you've ever sat with something, like a personal one that did not have a deadline? Okay.
Not anywhere close to a year. I have I have ongoing projects a like a journal, like a travel journal I take with me everywhere. Whenever we travel, I take notes and draw things and take photos and put them in there, but it's also always evolving. It's never the same. Like year
Yeah.
to year it might look similar, but I change my formats all the time too. So I don't really have like a project that I've been working on for that long. It's always for me, it's always finish it and move on because I have so many ideas.
Yeah. I love it. Do you have like a queue? Like I have a queue of writing books that I need to write. Do you have a queue of murals and other?
Yeah, I'm drowning in sticky notes and sketchbooks and
Yeah.
notes on my phone. Oh my god, yes.
And you had mentioned that you have interest in collaborating on a mural. Is there someone you'd like to collaborate with in mind?
No, it's nothing concrete. I know a bunch of artists and I know eventually it's gonna happen and I'll be happy to with whoever it is. It's just the idea is out there right now. So it will when the time is right, it will come.
I'm very excited. I love seeing your murals and your art out there in the city. And just so listeners know, it's her artwork is out in Las Vegas and Henderson and Reno. For anyone listening who would like to learn more about your art or you, I know that we mentioned they can go online to akincooperative.com and we'll include that detail in the description box. They can also visit the store if they are local here to Las Vegas or in the air in Las Vegas. And then you're working on your website, which will launch in early April.
Yes, I also have my Instagram, greenmorning.art. I have my other art or more art in Omega Mart, Meow Wolf gift shop here in Vegas.
We didn't even mention Omega Mart or Life is Beautiful or F1.
Yeah, there's okay.
Well, thank you so much, Mila. We really appreciate you. Thank you to everyone for listening. We hope you got something from this. We'll include more details on how you can find Mila and her art, and just stay tuned. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you.